What up? It's Ivan Bellman coming at you. I'm very tired. And I was like gonna write something, but nobody reads anything anymore, so what's the point? And then I remembered I used to leave these kind of like these reviews. No, this is gonna be a kind of a review, a theater review. But I used to make these videos when I was like half awake because I felt like it was better. Like I thought about it less, if that makes any sense, or I was less inhibited. And I haven't made one of these in a long time. I've been dealing with drama and medical stuff. I'm icing my prosthetic right now. The ice pack on my butt. I saw this production of The Cherry Orchard at St. Anne's Warehouse. And it's from the Dunmar, which I used to frequent back in the Dizzy. Dunmar is a small kind of like black box in the West End. It's kind of like, and I used to hang out there with these really lovely ladies who no longer work there. But oh man, they were so swell. My friend Rocky, hi Rocky, introduced me to them. And actually, I don't think I've ever hung out with all three of them at the same time. They introduced me, and but they're lovely, the best people. So it kind of takes me back. And St. Anne's is a venue in Brooklyn, kind of a malleable space. They mostly present stuff that you wouldn't get, like BAM in Brooklyn. Like, they present stuff for short runs that you wouldn't, from Europe, that you wouldn't get to see, or internationally, that you wouldn't get to see elsewhere. Mostly Europe, I guess. Occasionally you get some stuff from Asia or South America. This was really good though, man. But I've read some reviews online. And what's I think is missing is there's no like theater, dorks or nerds, dramaturgs, traumaturgs, writing. And everybody's like, oh, the staging's chaotic, but it's good anyway. And the director is a guy, I don't know him. I mean, I saw his production of The Maids, which was at BAM with these movie stars in it, and it was kind of underwhelming, but this was really good. Benedict Andrews. And the thing about it is that I think it's a really successful, or as successful as it can be, use of Bertolt Brecht. The Germans pronounce it Bertolt Brecht. But he had this thing that he called the alienation effect that he used in his staging, which became a staple in German theater in 60s and 70s. It kind of set it apart because he had seen some Japanese theater. I think this famous actor Mei Long Fang, and he began to incorporate techniques like you'd have these benches on the sides of the stage, and the actors would be present throughout the whole performance, and they would get up and then take on the character. And that is definitely, in effect, is definitely how this director did this staging. And there's other things, and alienation is not a good translation of the German word, but it's like most of the time at acting school, theater school, or rehearsal hall, you'll share that space with dancers because it's a studio and they use it for different performing arts things. And so usually there's mirrors, which the dancers use because they're, wanting to perfect their form. And then you pull the curtains when you're doing theater stuff. But Brecht really liked mirrors in his rehearsal because he felt like it made the actors self-conscious. And he's after this kind of, this self-consciousness. That's probably a better translation of the alienation effect. Because, and I'm throwing this out there because I'm trying to get away from I liked it. I didn't like it. It was good. It was bad. Like these 5-second idiotic fucking conversations that don't reveal anything. So if I'm got it wrong, or some Brecht scholar has it better or more succinct, and then saw this production, please holler at your boy. Bah. Yeah, it had this kind of self-consciousness, and so it's worrisome. And the reviewers that I read New York Times, this chick Vincelli, and then this other woman, Paola something or other, wrote a review online, and both were kind of like. And also I read something in the Guardian of the original production, and again it's like, oh, it's chaotic, but it's good, and it that's not really the effect. The effect is like a subversion of the emotion of the play, right? Which is maybe, I was talking to one of the actors' partner who I sat next to, and saying how this conversation I was having, saying how maybe this is what is needed now. Maybe this is the zeitgeist, because we don't need a kind of weepy, sappy, sentimental thing. We need these situations in high relief. So that's and the fact that you can't really latch on to any of the characters emotionally, like you can't get behind any of them, you can't empathize with them, you can't because there's this alienation thing that's happening, is maybe, and then I guess the theory being that if you put it in high relief like that, then you're able to see it better. You're able to kind of experience it without being sucked up into the pathos or manipulated. That's like, I guess that's the difference between that and melodrama, right? Like, melodrama, or even like, you could think of it like John Wick, or any Jason Statham movie, or The Rock, or any of these action heroes, right? You're going for a very specific kind of drunk or high, right? You're going for this kind of fantasy, this murder rampage fantasy, doing things that, are illegal and would get you put to death yourself. But in these scenarios, they're justified, and you get to play it out. So rather than that, this is removed. The other thing about it that I haven't heard anybody mention is that there's a lot of there's kissing, which sounds funny, but it's interesting. There's like a kiss between 𝚑𝚎𝚑𝚎 and what's his name, Boris, the guy who buys the estate, the rich guy who buys the estate. And it's fascinating because, like, what that does, like, it destroys any kind of subtext. Like, it's no longer innuendo, it's literal. And the other big thing is that they cast a woman in the role of Yasha. Yasha is this kind of like belligerent, egotistical manservant to the lead character, 𝚑𝚎𝚑𝚎, and he fucks one of the women there, and this is played by a woman in this production, and it's kind of that Maria Irene Fornes thing that she taught me about flipping the genders, that if you want to figure out what it's about, then flip the genders. She said that about her play Mud, and it was like a revelatory, and also kind of a gateway into third wave or post-feminism, right? Because, but what's fascinating is that this woman is just a jerk. She's patently like loathsome, yet yet there's something kind of endearing about her, like sexy, right? And that's yet another layer to this, that Chekhov could in fact be like erotic. Oh my God, which is really interesting. I found with like the seagull. Like I did a workshop of that play in Hawaii, Aloha Broha, and I cast this girl, and she was a college student, but very petite, couldn't be more than like 85, 95 pounds, and she looked like she was 16, which is the age of the character. And to see a grown man, actively pursue a teenager, essentially, who looks like a teenager. It doesn't look like a teenager who is, looks like she's 20, but a 20-year-old who looks like she's 16. It's like, it's terrifying, because it's like, oh my God, it's like there's something very real at stake. This woman's innocence is at stake. And it makes the sexual tension between them like kind of very, very scary. And that I think that this production, it didn't really do that, but it alluded to it. Like at one point, one of the actors takes off her shirt and she's wearing like a sports bra or something like that. And I haven't seen that. I mean, or maybe I just don't get out very much, but I think that would be great. Like to bring the erotic to Chekhov. Like, I think it'd be fascinating. Anyway, I love this. I love this show. I'm having kind of a theater renaissance. Like I'm back. What's up? And when people ask me, my friend at the Morgan Jeunesse Memorial thing, my friend introduced me to somebody else. Said, "This is Ian. He's a director and a provocateur." And I thought that if I ever get a business card, it would say theater recidivist and provocateur. But nobody has business cards anymore. What's that movie? American Psycho. He gets very obsessed with the movie. All right. Blah. Deuces.